Hi, this is John with Flat 6 Motorsports, and today we have the 718 Cayman GT4. We're going to talk about must-have mods, so let's get into it. So as a GT4 owner, the first thing you're probably going to notice is how weak this car sounds from the factory and really not proper for a sports car. Now the easiest way to change that is over axle pipes, and they're most cost-effective thing to do. So the over axle pipes replace a restrictive over axle pipe from the factory. They allow better flow. They drop about 16 pounds off the car, and they add about 20 to 25 horsepower. So a very good overall modification. They bolt right on. Very simple. If you ever need to turn the car back to stock, it's very easy to swap those back, but it's going to give you improved performance, lighter weight, and of course a better sound. In the spirit of making the car breathe a little better, we're going to replace the OEM paper filter, which just is not a high-flowing filter, with a BMC high-flow air filter. Now Porsche actually uses BMC in the GT4 RS, GT3 RS, among some other vehicles. A little bit improvement to airflow, a little more induction noise, but it'll be a nice addition to the setup. And because I'm going to put this car on track and I enjoy driving with the windows down, a really great upgrade are these AWE foilers. They're a nice plastic piece, basically diffuse wind away from the window so air doesn't come into the cabin as much. So it reduces that buffeting factor. So if you've ever put your windows down at a high speed, you hear whoop, 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 whoop. Very annoying, particularly on track, and like I said, back roads with the windows down. So very easy swap, very popular, definitely a must-have. And since the car is a manual transmission car, one of the first things that I always do in all of my manual transmission cars is swap out for the Numeric Shifter. Now the factory shifter feels very vague, it's very light, and just doesn't have a lot of positive engagement. And the reason for that is the use of all these plastic bushings. There's just a lot of deflection and a lack of security in the shifting. So the Numeric Shifter, this nice beautiful one piece, has nice spherical ball bearings, a good spring action. So it's very direct, it's very confidence inspiring, and it just shifts kind of like loading a rifle bolt. Probably one of the best mods you can do from a feel perspective. It just really cleans up the shifts. Now with the improved flow of the exhaust system, we're going to want to take control of the valves. The valves from the factory close between 1,000 and 3,800 RPMs. You probably hear that stock, but when you put over axle pipes on, you're going to hear that more pronounced, and it's pretty terrible. So to take control of that, we can do a car graphic valve controller, or today we're going to do the M Engineering M Tuner. This plugs into OBD port, reprograms them so that the factory button for the PSC will allow them to open or close as it should have come from the factory, but it gives us that full range of control. 100% open when the button is pushed on, where the factory will not even open them up 100%. So you're gonna get a lot more performance and sound out of this. So let's install this now. Okay, so now we have all the mods on the car, the essential mod pack, I'd call it. And right away, I feel the shifter, obviously, so much more engaging and direct, and it's really worth the money. Just in any manual car, any manual Porsche I've driven, it's something I do pretty much right away. Open up the valves, which is nice because it actually opens up now. I'm at 3,000 RPM or so, and valves are open, and then all I have to do is push the button and they go back to a closed position. I'll open back up there. So I really like that feature. For the M-Coder, I think it's worth the price alone. It's easy to integrate to the button. I prefer that versus using a remote. Car graphic makes a nice unit as well if you don't mind the use of a remote, or maybe you're not opening and closing them that often. But right away you hear, obviously, the over axle pipes. That would probably be the one mod I would say is necessary for this car. But let's throw it in this corner and it's a little cold out here in Florida today. Traction's still on, so it intervened a little bit. Unseasonably cold, but man, the shifter feels so good. The over axle pipes make right about a noise just to get started with an exhaust. I'm going to go a little further just because I want to open it up a little more, get a little more tone out of the car. But for a lot of folks, I think this would be definitely sufficient. Makes it much more exciting compared to the OEM arrangement. More power too. feel that right away. It's definitely got more oomph to it. And the shifting is so much nicer with the Numeric. PFC air filters, a little more induction noise, nothing crazy, but meaningful difference. Might as well do it when you need to replace air filters. Overall, the sum of these parts take a very numb car, that's the GT4 stock, and they just add a little bit of excitement. This is very, you know, it's a nice rowdy, aggressive tone, but it's not over the top. It's not super loud. You'd probably hear more of it in the cabin, I would say, than maybe outside of the car. You're definitely going to you're going to notice the difference outside of the car, but this has just kind of that right level for somebody that doesn't want to do too much, doesn't want to go too far. That's why, you know, I would consider these must-do mods for street performance. Now, certainly you can obviously take advantage of these on the track. Not going to make a massive difference except dropping weight with the OEPs, making a little more power. I will say all these to me are just kind of, you know, it takes the car to a place where it's fun to drive. It's nice to own. It's nice to have. Before, frankly, getting into it, a little disappointed with just kind of how it comes from the factory, and there's a lot of reasons why it has to be that way. But if you have one of these, you need to really start off with these modifications. We're going to come back and do another episode where we're going to enhance it even further. So we're going to set up this next episode as optimizing street performance. So we're going to add a catback section from Akrapovic, the DSC suspension controller that plugs into the factory PASM. So that'll be interesting too to test, just to kind of help improve some of the handling and steering of the car before we go to some of the mechanical bits with it. And then the M Engineering Stage 1 tune. I'm excited for that. Just get a little bit more power out of the car, really optimize the setup we have with the exhaust system. And we'll come back with some you know, good insight and data there. And if you have a 718 GT4, definitely subscribe to our channel. We're gonna have more of these episodes out. We do have an exhaust series as well. We just shot with a GTS 4.0, so we have 5 different exhaust arrangements if you're looking for an exhaust system, so definitely check that out as well. We'll link that here in the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.